iOS 15 is out right now, and here's a look at the top features. And I'm telling you, there are some really cool features to be found here. Now, this is just the first of a series of videos I have in the works right now, so be sure to hit that subscribe button for more. So enjoy this walkthrough of iOS 15, but first, a brief word from our sponsor. iMazing is the Swiss Army knife for iOS device management for Mac and Windows. Use it to make time machine style wireless backups and easily transfer documents, media, and content. Explore system files, access device and battery diagnostics, and more. All of your data stays local on your computer or the drive of your choice, and backups can be encrypted for maximum privacy. With iMazing, you can dig into your iPhone's backup history, browse your photo library without syncing, and export multiple versions. You can even save and export WhatsApp chats and iOS messages, and it's all ready for Apple's latest software and hardware. It's no wonder why iMazing is the most popular all-purpose iPhone and iPad manager for Mac and PC. For a limited time, get 30% off iMazing by clicking the link in the description. Special thanks to iMazing for sponsoring 9 to 5 Mac. When you first set up a new iPhone with iOS 15, you'll notice this brand new home screen that includes, for the very first time, 2 widgets by default. So you see those 2 small widgets at the top of the first home screen page. Now what I'm going to do right now is move several app icons to create multiple home screen pages. So I have 4 in total here. So I can just quickly swipe over or tap the home screen page dots to move between them. So you can see those 4 home screen pages. Now the reason why I did this is to show you some new page management features. So long press anywhere to get into edit mode, tap the page dots, and that will reveal the page editor where you can enable or disable home screen pages. But in iOS 15, look what you can do. You can actually rearrange pages simply by tapping and dragging, just like you would an app icon on the home screen. So as you can see there, I've actually moved this page to the last page, and then I have this page right here as the first page. Super simple, super easy, easily move those around with the page editor. So let's go back in there. Let me show you something else that's really cool. Now, if I uncheck, that is how you hide a home screen page. That was in iOS 14, but notice this little dash right here in the upper left-hand corner. When I disable a home screen page, now in iOS 15, I can actually remove that page outright, which will also remove all the apps that are on that page and place them in the app library. So just that simple, I was able to remove 2 pages just like that. Now the app icons haven't been uninstalled, they're just located in the app library. So I'm gonna remove 1 more page. You have to have at least 1 home screen page at all times. So now I have no additional pages except this one. And here's your app library with all of your apps. So here's one of the coolest new iOS 15 features, live text. So the stock camera app, you notice a little yellow box outline around the text. So when you see that, that means live text is available, and you simply tap the live text button to grab that text. So now you can simply copy that text just like that and paste it anywhere else you want to paste it. So I'm going to open up a note, and I'm just going to simply paste right there from that iPhone 13 Pro Max box, just like that. And this will work with any text while you're out and about, and it actually is smart as well. So if it's a phone number, you can simply capture that text using live text, tap the phone number, and actually dial that number right there on the fly. So imagine you're passing a billboard, there's something advertised that you want to check out, you can easily just simply dial that phone number just like that. Super simple. But it doesn't stop there. You can also use live text to, yes, you guessed it, translate right there on the fly, thanks to iOS 15's new Anywhere Translate feature. So here I've translated some text from French over to English, and I can easily copy that translation, change my language, add that translation to my favorites, of course, play it back, or open it in the Translate app for iOS 15, which also received quite a few significant upgrades. We'll talk about that a little bit later. And also, if you have photos in your photo library, well, yep, you can grab text from those as well. Simply tap and hold to open the copy and paste menu, copy that text, and then I can simply go over to my note, paste that. Folks, live text is an awesome new iOS 15 feature. And speaking of awesome features, Safari got the biggest redesign probably in its history. And it is headlined by the new location of the address bar, which makes it super easy to access on larger phones like the iPhone 13 Pro Max, for instance. So that's really nice. You don't have to reach up to the very top of the display. You simply tap right there within thumb's reach, and that way you can access and search within the address bar or enter a URL, etc. That is super nice and a welcome feature. Now, here's the thing. You can actually go back to the way the address bar used to be at the top of the display simply by tapping the settings button and then tapping show top address bar, just like that. So this looks more like iOS 14, and I'm curious which way you like the best. I have to say, I love the new method in iOS 15. Apple calls it the tab bar. I personally think it's so much better this way than it was previously in iOS 14. But you can go into the settings app and you can actually adjust that also directly from settings. But in my opinion, it doesn't really make sense to do that because you can basically do the same thing right from Safari itself just by tapping right here, the settings button, and then choose between show bottom tab bar or show top. Now, it's important to note that there are other benefits beyond being easy to reach. For instance, you now have gesture support when you have the bottom tab bar enabled. So I can simply swipe over to enable a new tab just like that. And I can swipe between tabs just like that. So if I'm at the last tab, I swipe over, it creates a new tab, and then I can swipe between all of my open tabs just like that. Now, here's another thing. What happens when you swipe up? Well, let me show you right here. You swipe up like that, and it reveals all the tabs for you. So again, swipe left or right to switch tabs, swipe up to show all tabs. So personally, I don't see why you would want to go with the iOS 14 style. This way is much superior, and it brings advanced gesture support to Safari. Now, let's talk about tab groups, because you'll notice here 3 tabs, tap that. Now you'll see this new tab groups menu. And what this allows you to do is group tabs together in custom groups that you create. Let me show you how this works. So I have 3 open tabs here, and if I tap here, new tab group from 3 tabs, I can give it a custom name, and now those 3 tabs are in their custom tabs group called test group. Now, the beauty of this is that I can group like tabs together if I choose to do so and easily swap between tab groups, yielding much better Safari browsing organization. So now you don't have just a bunch of tabs open randomly. Now you can actually group tabs or like tabs together if you choose to do so. So I have 2 groups open here. I have an untitled group, and I can swap back over to my test group just like that. I can swap back to my 2 tabs. I can go back to my test group. I can create a new empty tab group if I want to do that and give it a custom name and then start adding tabs to that. So I named it sports. So how about just navigating to ESPN, put that in this sports tab group. And then when I open up additional websites related to sports, I'll just throw them here in this particular tab group to keep things nice and tidy. So that's been one of the big problems with Safari in the past. Just like you have, 50, 60 open tabs and they're just all over the place. Well, now with tab groups, it's much easier to stay organized. Now, Safari also gains voice search directly from the address bar. So you can just simply tap the little microphone button, type in or say your search term, and it'll search just like that. So that's super handy new feature to have in iOS 15. What do you think about Safari's upgrade in iOS 15? Let me know down below in the comment section. I'm interested to hear what you have to say about it. During the beta process, I know some of the changes Apple was making to Safari was a little bit controversial, but I think they really knocked it out of the park with this final version of Safari in iOS 15. Focus is arguably the most impressive new feature in iOS 15, and it is basically do not disturb on steroids, right? So in Control Center, you'll see the focus button, which allows you to enable the various focus modes. Do not disturb being one of those focus modes. So when you tap on focus, you can see all the various focus modes that you have currently configured. You can go ahead and configure new focus modes if you want to do that. And there are various canned focus modes that Apple has already provided you, but you can also go in and set up your own custom focus mode if you want to do that as well. So let me show you how to set this up. So we're going to start off first of all, by setting up a work focus. And when you do, you get the splash screen explaining how that particular focus mode is used. So in this case, the work focus allows notifications from important people and apps while keeping other distractions at bay. It will turn on automatically, and you can share your focus status with those that try to contact you. Now, let me show you how to set this up. We're going to just tap the Allow People button, and I'm going to search for a contact. We can add as many contacts in our allowed list as we want. So these particular people will be able to easily contact me even when I have this particular focus enabled. So Ducky's always going to be able to get through. And then I can also let other people through from my favorites when they call. So I'll just go ahead and tap Allow there. And now I can allow apps for notifications. So this is a work focus. So I want work-related applications to be able to break through and contact me. So Slack being the most obvious of those, I'm going to go ahead and add Slack. So Slack notifications will still come through. And also I have the ability to allow time-sensitive notifications from apps that deem particular or certain notifications as time sensitive. I can enable that if I want to. So now this work focus is ready. So it's on everywhere. When you turn a focus on one device, it syncs with all your devices, right? And I'll show you that. You can enable in Control Center. You can also customize your home screen, and that is really cool. So here, open up Control Center, easily toggle on the focus. I can tap the focus button and then easily toggle on my work focus. And when I switch to that focus, you'll notice the Control Center toggle app icon updates to that particular focus, and you'll see that particular focus icon in your status bar. Now, let me show you the syncing functionality for focus. So I'm going to go ahead, disable focus on this iPhone. You can see it automatically syncs on all my devices, turn it back on, and it comes on all my devices, Macs, iPads, etc. Now you may be thinking to yourself, Jeff, that's really cool and all, and I could see the benefit of focus modes, having different modes for different situations, but let me show you something that is just ridiculously cool. Now, in iOS 15, it's actually possible to add multiple app icons from the same app to your home screen. So I can have like a whole page full of Instagram app icons, and you may be wondering to yourself, why do that? Well, focus modes, folks, focus modes. So you see I have Slack on that page, Slack on this page. Here is where focus really shows its power. The reason why Apple allows multiple app icons from the same app is because of the focus custom pages. So I'm going to set up a home screen page, as you can see here, a work-related home screen page. I'm going to go into my page editor. I'm going to disable that page, as you can see there. So that page isn't normally active, but I can make it active when I have a particular focus enabled. So go into custom pages here, and then I can simply enable that page, which is normally hidden, right? And now when I enable that focus, that is the custom page that will be displayed. All other pages will be hidden. And I could also hide notification badges if I want to do that. So I've disabled that focus. Now watch what happens. It's going to sync. I'm going to enable work on this iPhone. It syncs automatically. And notice the custom page is displayed, and that is the only page available because I'm ready to work. I don't need any other apps distracting me, any other notifications distracting me. That is amazing, right? That is so cool. And I disable it, I get everything back, and that page, that work page, is now hidden. Wow. This is, I'm telling you, this is a game changer. I think a lot of people are going to love this. And I don't think people really realize the power of this. And it's pretty awesome. Now, you also get focus status updates. So basically, you can let people, when they try to contact you, know that, hey, I'm focusing right now. I don't need to be bothered. So you can see I sent that test message, but the person can notify you anyway, and you'll be notified if they choose to do so. So that is an option. Now, you also have some lock screen options. You can dim the lock screen when that focus mode is enabled, etc. But here's another really cool thing. You have automation. So now I can automate based on time, location, or app that I use, and that focus will automatically enable. There's also smart activations using machine learning in different scenarios to enable that focus. So let's go ahead and make the clock app your activation-based app, or your trigger, so to speak. So whenever I open up clock, that focus will enable. So there's the clock launch. Let's wait for it. There's the focus enabled. Then I'm going to close the clock. You see the focus mode, and then I close the app so it exits that focus and goes back to normal. Folks, I'm telling you, there's going to be some ridiculous stuff. People are going to just have some ridiculous setups. I can already see it. And there are various different canned focuses, like for reading or for sleep, and they have differences based upon that particular focus. So obviously driving focus or do not disturb while driving is going to be a little bit different than health, etc. Now, you can also, like I said, go in and create your own focus with your own custom app icon and color, and then create that. You can always go back in and edit the appearance as well. So folks, what do you think about focus modes in iOS 15? To me, this is by far one of the coolest new features that we've seen in quite some time, and it is a true power user feature for iOS 15. So notifications get an update in iOS 15 as well. You get contact photos for people, and that's nice and large, so you can see who the notification is coming from, in this case, Ducky Benjamin's texting me about the iPhone 13 Pro Max. You also get larger icons for applications as well. But in my opinion, the biggest new notifications related feature as far as usefulness is concerned is the ability to announce notifications via headphones for basically any app you have installed on your iPhone. Now, the cool thing about this is that I like to wear my AirPods when I'm cutting the grass, for instance. And this is really nice because I don't have to worry about looking at my phone. I'll just get that incoming notification read via Siri directly to my AirPods. And as you can see, very granular setup. On an app by app case, you can set up announce notifications, and you can also make it so that only time sensitive notifications come through, or you can set it so that all notifications come through. Or for something like Instagram, you can set it so that only DMs will come through, or you can set all notifications. You also have the scheduled summary, which is a brand new iOS 15 feature, and this allows you to bundle non-urgent notifications and receive them in a summary at specific times. This is so nice because this prevents you from being inundated with just tons of notifications. Instead, you can just have scheduled times to view them. You can assign apps to your scheduled summary like this. It also shows the amount of notifications you normally receive. So I'm going to add those apps, and then you have your first summary, your second summary. You can add additional summaries as well. And then at those particular times, you can view the full bundled summary breakdown. You can also show next summary for a preview of what's upcoming. Just simply swipe up like that, you get your next summary, so you can kind of see what's upcoming. But let me show you the schedule summary. So I'm going to go ahead and set it for 10:30 here. So let's go ahead and exit out of here, and we'll go back to the settings and set up a schedule summary for 10:30. So let's go into add summary, and we'll tap here, and we'll set it to 10:30, and there we go. So once 10:30 hits, that scheduled summary will be displayed with the apps that I've received notifications for. Now, of course, the individual app notification preferences have been updated to reflect all these new changes related to notifications. So right here with Twitter, you have notification delivery, you have immediate delivery, which I don't have enabled now because I added that to the scheduled summary, and it even tells you the time. And then you have time sensitive notifications. You can enable that or disable that on an app by app basis. So that's really cool. So here is that scheduled summary, nice breakdown, that bundle of apps, so I'm not inundated with tons of notifications all the time. Now let's briefly talk about Spotlight and some of the rich features that have been implemented here in iOS 15. So now when you search for things like movies or sports stars or artists, you're going to get this rich layout that really showcases that particular artist or movie or sports figure, etc. So now that was Lamar Jackson. I got Mbappe, you can see his breakdown there. You get his social media details and all that. It's really cool having this rich breakdown right from within Spotlight search. You don't have to go out to the web to get these details. And again, it works with movies. It also works with TV shows. So here's Ant-Man, and I can just tap on that. You can see the breakdown of Ant-Man right here. You can even tap to play. There's artists as well, artist support. So good old Coltrane, and you get details on that. You can open that in Apple Music if you want to as well. So let's talk about some more personal stuff like your photos. You can search for your photos right here within Spotlight search, just like that. And not only that, you can also use live text right within your Spotlight image search results. So here's a photo I pulled up via Spotlight. I can enable live text just by tapping that button. And now I can copy and paste right there from that image. It's not an actual text file, but it is an image, and I can copy details from that image just like that. Super handy new feature. And there's also rich contact support. So your contacts, you'll have your messages, you have their social media details, photos, messages, even money you sent them via Apple Pay will display here. So that is really cool upgrade for Spotlight. Now in iOS 15, FaceTime gets a major upgrade, but unfortunately the really cool things like SharePlay support, being able to share your screen, being able to share video in sync with other FaceTime users at the same time, third-party app support, so you can actually not only listen to music together via third-party apps, not just the music app, but also watch videos together via third-party apps, not just the TV app. As you can see here in this demo from a few months ago, I had SharePlay working in one of the older betas, but unfortunately SharePlay has been delayed, so it is not in the final version of iOS 15 that Apple has released to the public. In the future, Apple will release an update to add SharePlay back, maybe with iOS 15.1, who knows exactly, but this would have been by far, hands down, the headline feature for iOS 15 had it been available on day one. Because SharePlay brings movies and TV shows into your FaceTime calls. It brings Apple Music into your FaceTime calls. You have synced playback, so everyone's playback remains in perfect sync. You can share your music queue. There's smart volume that dynamically adjusts volume so you can actually hear your friends even while a loud scene is playing. You can share your screen. There's multiple device support, so you'll be able to watch on your Apple TV with other users, and you can access a group message thread right from FaceTime controls. It's just going to be amazing. But rest assured, once SharePlay actually is released, we will have a full breakdown and walkthrough of that. But let me know, are you disappointed with iOS 15 because SharePlay didn't make the cut? Or do you think there's enough there that it's okay? Let me know down below in the comments. The good news is that FaceTime updates aren't just about SharePlay. There are other things that Apple has brought to the table, such as video effects. Right now, there's only one effect, that is the portrait mode effect that you get during your FaceTime calls. You can enable portrait mode if you want to do that. So basically what this will do is blur the background when portrait mode is enabled and unblur the background when it's disabled. And you can tell it is a pretty significant difference here. So let me show you what this looks like here. So here it is without portrait mode enabled. I'm going to go into video effects, enable it, and then you can see what I look like with portrait mode enabled. You can see the blur background there when portrait mode is enabled. So here it is disabled, and here it is enabled, and you can see quite a big difference there. Now you also have your various microphone modes, which makes a significant difference as well. So you have your standard, which is just your normal FaceTime microphone mode. Then you have voice isolation and wide spectrum. Voice isolation does exactly what it says, isolate your voice. Wide spectrum makes it so that you can hear ambient noise around you, which is really cool to get a sense of your environment. Now you can also create FaceTime links for the very first time and share those links with anyone to be able to join your FaceTime call. All you do is click create link and you can send that to anyone. Doesn't matter if they're an iPhone user or not. And that really goes right into the next big FaceTime feature enhancement in iOS 15, the ability to join a FaceTime call from anywhere. That includes Android devices, that includes Windows laptops. Yeah, so FaceTime basically is open so that anyone can join a FaceTime call with these handy links. That is a really cool thing. And as you can see here, I am in Safari and about to join this FaceTime call directly from Safari. So I give Safari access to my camera and it just works. So you can talk with all of your friends regardless if they're iPhone users or not. Now, obviously you don't get the full FaceTime experience. For instance, you wouldn't have access to filters to add Memoji to your face, but it's good enough to have your friends join a conversation no matter what device they're using. So in iOS 15, the weather app gains a sizable upgrade, starting with the brand new app icon that's been redesigned. And here is the new weather app with sort of full screen animations. You can see the little rain droplets here, how they hit the various UI within the weather app and it's full screen. That looks really good. And you also have updated cells, which are larger and easier to read. You also have an updated 10-day forecast, more dark sky integration as a part of Apple's acquisition of dark sky. And if you scroll down to the bottom of the interface, you'll see the larger tiles that have been updated to present data in just a more pleasing manner. manner. You get things like visibility and sunset information. And you also, for the very first time, have built-in maps. So these maps have various overlays. In this case, you have the air quality overlay, but you can tap the little stack button right here and then choose between temperature, precipitation, and air quality. So here's the temperature overlay, and you have the color scale that helps you to see how the temperatures are changing as you move about the map. Now, the precipitation is really interesting because you actually get an animated radar map, which helps you to see precipitation details into the future. And that's super handy. Something that I've been wanting for a very long time in the weather app. The weather app is actually super useful now. So your various locations, you can see Portland, it is basically kind of raining on and off right now. And obviously you have the precipitation map, which is presented there. You can quickly get into the map just by tapping that button. And what's also interesting in iOS 15 is you can actually preview a location without adding it to your list of locations. So for Tokyo, I can kind of look at it, but I don't have to tap the add button if I don't want to. Now, like I said, dark sky integration is here. So if you tap the ellipsis button, you can tap notifications and you can be notified on upcoming precipitation events. So you can do so from your current location, but you can also do so from your various locations for all the maps that you have added to the weather app. So you can toggle those on, those individual locations, one by one. Now, the Messages app gets quite a few new updates, including new Animoji features, of course. So we'll go in there and edit. Let me show you the new glasses. And just like before, you can set up your frames and lenses, different colors independently. There's a little bit of a different interface there, but you also get updated glasses like hearts, stars, and the old-timey old man glasses. But here's that new interface for the frames and lenses. Now you have those two independent buttons, which is kind of neat. But what's really nice is that you have independent colors between headwear now. So you actually have 3 different colors you can choose between headwear, main, second, and third. Now, not all pieces of headwear will have that third color option, but for the ones that do, you can really kind of customize this thing and make it your own, as you can see right here. So quite a few different looks you can go for there. You also have accessibility features like the padded helmet, which is cool. You also have a cochlear implants. I think I pronounced that right. And you also have the oxygen tube as well. You gotta appreciate that attention to detail and these new additions. Now, perhaps the most noteworthy new addition to Memoji is the ability to have clothing. For the very first time, you have clothing for your Memoji character. You can go in there and change that up. So I'm gonna find me a nice suit, or let me find a nice jacket to sport. That was pretty stylish. Let's go back to that one. And the nice thing, again, you have main, second, and third colors. You can really make it your own, make it your style. But I'm going to switch to something a little bit more classy. There we go. All right. So now the cool thing about this is that once you have your clothing, the clothing is reflected in the Memoji stickers. Now, of course, not every sticker includes the clothing, but for the stickers that do, that particular garment that you chose, that particular look is going to be reflected there, as you can see right here. Now, you also get some additional Memoji stickers, including the light bulb, the head in the clouds, and the blowing nose sticker as well. I'm going to choose the head in the clouds because I often feel that way. But that's not the end of all the Messages app upgrades in iOS 15. When you add photos to a conversation, as you can see here, if I add 3 photos, I get a nice little collage of photos that I can swipe through, and those are neatly displayed right there in the conversation. Now, if I send 4 or more photos at the same time, I get a stack instead of a collage, and that stack allows me to do this. So I can quickly swipe through the various photos in that stack. It actually displays how many photos are there as well. So in iOS 15, sharing photos via Messages is just a lot more tidy. And even saving photos, even stacks of photos, is easy via a nice little save button. You can save that right to your library. Now, one of the coolest new innovations in iOS 15 is shared with you. So whenever someone shares, for instance, a TV show or a song or a news article, etc., that is going to show up in a special section within those respective apps. So you can see I shared a news article, I've shared a song, I've shared a TV show. Now watch as I go into these respective apps. See, there's a section here in the news app, shared with you. So that shows not only the article, but who it's from. And if I tap that, it actually opens up the Messages app in line where I share that so I can actually reply to that particular share. Super nice feature. Here's the music app, share with you, same thing. I could tap on that, get that inline reply. And here's the TV app. Super cool upgrades for messages in iOS 15. So in Photos for iOS 15, one of the things that you'll notice is the richer info pane. So when you tap the info button, you get a lot more metadata. You can see the type of camera used, the compression type, the size, including the resolution. You get the ISO value, focal length, f-stop, even the shutter speed. You can add and edit locations. Of course, you see the date and time when the photo is taken, the file name, just a ton of metadata right there at your fingertips. Now that was for an old Nikon Coolpix photo, but this is for the iPhone 12, and as you would expect, it has a lot more metadata there, including what camera was used on the iPhone 12, so the wide camera, 26 millimeters, f-stop, f1.4, megapixels, ISO value, focal length, all that stuff right there, easy to see within that info pane. Now you also get visual lookup. You tap that little button there, right there on the photo. It will recognize, first of all, the type of photo. So in this case, a flower or a plant, and then you can look up more information via the web. So I tap that info button or that visual lookup button, and there Siri Knowledge helps me to find out what I'm looking at. So this does a pretty good job of identifying the correct type of flower or animal or location. And you can tap lookup here as well. So you can either tap the lookup button on the photo or the lookup button within the rich info pane. And like I said, it works for not only plants, but also animals. So this obviously is a Labrador. And you also get an updated Memories experience. And Memories has basically been sort of like rebuilt from the ground up. It has so many different customization features. It's highly integrated now with Apple Music. So in addition to the hundreds of songs that are newly included within Memories, you can actually go out and assign an Apple Music song from one of the millions of songs on Apple Music. They also provide suggestions just for you. If you want to use those, you can do that. So all you need to do is tap the song you want to use, just like that, and then tap done, and there you go. So what Memories will try to do via machine learning is to match up the photos and videos to correspond with the different beat changes within the song to make it a much more cohesive experience. And you can take advantage of memory mixes, which allows you to quickly switch between different songs and different pacing for your photos and videos within your individual memories. And you have memory looks, so you get 12 different looks to switch up the mood of your particular photo or video. And these are actually not canned filters, but they're actually customized on the fly for your particular photo or video that it is displaying. So that's really cool, the power of that neural engine. And this is just something I really appreciate. You have a watch next little feature at the end of your memory. So once it concludes, it has watch next, and there'll actually be a little countdown, sort of Netflix style. It just really makes it all that more immersive. So Memories gets a huge upgrade in iOS 15. Now, one of my favorite new updates is found in both notes and reminders, and that is, of course, organized with tags. So having tag support directly in the Reminders app and the Notes app, and then fully taking advantage of those tags via custom smart lists that organize your tags on the fly. So let's talk about the Notes app to start with here. So I'm just going to add a tag. You just add a hashtag and then your name of your tag, return, and there you go. You have iOS 15 tag just like that. So now this is tagged iOS 15. It's going to show up in the tag cloud when I go back. Let's add another tag here. I'm going to add test. So now I have iOS 15 and test for this particular note. And there you can see the tag cloud below. So you have all tags and then all the various tags that it finds within the Notes app across all of your notes. So any note that has iOS 15 will appear here. Apparently there's just one note with iOS 15, but I can go back and select another tag or combine multiple tags for an even more specific search. So I have iOS 15 selected, and then I could select test. So you can see I have both of those selected, and that note is still displayed because both tags are in that note. Now you have 3 tags, so none of the notes meet that requirement, but again, I can deselect or select there are 2 notes with the Apple tag. But it's not just the tag cloud. You also have smart folders. So if I tap the folder button there, I can select new smart folder. So now I can name that folder and then assign it specific tags, 1 or more if I want to do that, or even create a new tag right there on the fly. So I'll call this iOS 15 and I select the iOS 15 tag, and you can see there is my smart folder with 1 item, just as we expected. So if I create another new note and add iOS 15 in there, then I will have 2 items in that particular smart folder. So let's go back, and as expected, 2 items under iOS 15, just like that. And what's cool is that the Reminders app gets basically the same thing, tag support and smart list support. So you see I have a couple of tags here, one for YouTube, one for 9 to 5 Mac. And then I can go back, scroll all the way down and see all my various tags in my tag cloud. And I can drill down on specific tags, just like I could with the Notes app. Very similar setup here in Reminders. So the Translate app gets a huge upgrade in iOS 15, and also Translate is system-wide. So I have this Japanese text selected. I'm just going to tap Translate in the copy-paste menu, and there you go. So I can play that translation back in both the native language and the translated language just like that. I can open in the Translate app, etc. Now, speaking of the Translate app, let's go ahead and open that. You can see what's new. Conversation views, you have auto translate and the aforementioned system-wide translation. So pretty big update in iOS 15. iOS 14 version of the Translate app felt sort of new, and it was. This one feels a lot more fleshed out. So I can simply talk there. It'll translate on the fly. I just say 1, it translates to Spanish. It automatically recognizes the language I'm speaking in, which is really cool. So thank you, gracias, right? And when I start speaking Spanish, which I can't do very well, it will automatically recognize that and translate Spanish to English. And then I have auto translate, which basically allows you to have a sustained conversation without having to keep tapping the microphone button. So it just continues to listen, and all I have to do is keep speaking. So if I'm talking with someone that speaks Spanish, we can have a full-on conversation right here on the fly, and I don't have to interface with the iPhone at all. Just look at the screen. So I'm going to say something in Spanish now. Adelante y atrás. Back and forth, I guess that's right. And you can see it translates from Spanish to English. Now, what I really like is this face-to-face view. So you can hold your iPhone out. The other speaker will be on the opposite side, and 2 different people from 2 different backgrounds who don't speak the same language can communicate with relative ease. So the Maps app gets a pretty big upgrade in iOS 15. It includes a new interactive globe, which is sort of Google Earth-esque. You also have an all-new city experience, which is really interesting. I'm going to show you that here in just a second. So let's first of all talk about that new Google Earth style globe. So literally, you can just spin the globe, go to the destination that you're looking for, zoom in. And I really like this because this allows you to quickly get to the location you're looking for simply by spinning the globe and then just zooming in. So let's go ahead and get over here to San Francisco, because this allows me to show you the next big new feature, and that is the all new detailed city view with ridiculous detail. I mean, just insane. You have lines on the street, you have crosswalks, you have trees, you have like turning lanes, overpasses, underpasses. You can see the 3D space there, even markings for like school zone, bike lanes. I mean, it's just insane. But not even just that. You also have interchanges, overpasses, and they're all in 3D space. And what's neat is that when you navigate, you're going to be able to see a lot of these features in 3D space to help you kind of gain better context of where you are. And I also like the new Arrive By feature, which allows you to sort of schedule out destinations in the future. So you can see exactly when I need to leave to make sure I still make it to my destination at the time I want to arrive there. So that is a nice upgrade. So iCloud Plus is what Apple's now calling the paid tier of iCloud, and it includes lots of new privacy improvements and enhancements. So I sort of just basically combine privacy with iCloud Plus. So iCloud Plus brings to the table things like private relay, things like hide my email, and there are other benefits such as custom domain names and such. So iCloud Private Relay keeps your internet activity private. It hides your IP address and browsing activity in Safari and protects your unencrypted internet traffic so that no one, including Apple, can see who you are, where you're visiting, etc. So if you're worried about security, maybe you're using a public Wi-Fi connection, this may be something that interests you. You can also maintain your general location, or you can use your country and time code. The benefit of maintaining your general location is that you get contextual benefits when visiting certain websites. The website will know your general location, so it'll present, for instance, a store recommendation in your local area. So with private relay enabled, your IP address is hidden from known trackers and websites, but when you turn it off, it's just hidden from known trackers. Now, hide my email technically isn't a new feature, but it's a lot more visible in iOS 15. You have it right here within the iCloud preferences, so you can actually go in and create a new email address. And basically this will create a sort of like a spoofed email address, and it'll forward that email to your real email. So basically, using hide my email, you're not revealing your real email address when you sign up for stuff online. So here on this sign up form, you can actually see the hide my email button right there. iCloud Plus pops up, and you can create a dummy iCloud address so that your real address is not exposed when you sign up for whatever you're signing up for. Another privacy upgrade in iOS 15 is mail privacy protection. And this is a long needed feature for the Mail app that will, number one, hide your IP address and load remote content privately in the background even when you don't open a message. So in theory, this should make it difficult for senders to know, for instance, whether or not you actually read their email. And like I noted earlier, iCloud Plus brings custom domain support to iCloud Mail for the first time. Be sure to watch our full tutorial for the details. And then finally, we have Find My, which introduces Find My network support for AirPods to help you find individual earbuds on a map. And for the first time, your iPhone is now findable by the Find My network, even when it's powered off. That's really cool. So what's the benefit of this? Well, if someone steals your iPhone and they immediately turn it off, hoping that, obviously you can no longer track it, well, that no longer is the case, because even when your phone is powered off, when it's logged into the Find My network, your phone will still be trackable and visible within the Find My app on your other devices. And even if someone steals your iPhone and they restore it, but it's still locked to your iCloud account, you will still be able to track that iPhone via the Find My network on another device. That's really cool. But not just that, it'll actually tell now that the iPhone is locked to the owner and it is trackable. So yet another way to discourage iPhone theft, but it can also help people who are interested in buying a phone to know that, hey, this phone is locked right off the bat. So ladies and gentlemen, that has been a look at iOS 15's top features. Which one is your favorite must-have feature for iOS 15? Let me know down below in the comments. And also, if you appreciated this video, leave a thumbs up. It helps other people find this video as well. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for watching, and stay tuned because we have a whole lot more in the works. This is Jeff with 9 to 5 Mac. Special thanks to iMazing for sponsoring 9 to 5 Mac. iMazing is made by Apple fans, and it's already fully compatible with iOS 15, iPadOS 15, and it's ready for macOS Monterey. Use it to do things like easily transfer music and videos to your devices, or download and install iOS apps and manage an app library right on your desktop. Click the link in the description to get 30% off iMazing for a limited time.